So, welcome back, and now we're into pattern thinking, seeing what others miss. This is Jeff Hendrickson once again. Thanks for being here. If you'd like to see other types of content and teachings that we do, you can go to personalpowerkaizen.com, right? It's just all that, all one word, personalpowerkaizen.com. See what else we've got there. Some cool free stuff, also some paid courses as well. But that's where all these ideas kind of come from. All right, so we're going to get into this now. Pattern thinking is the skill of noticing themes, connections, and repeated shapes inside your ideas. When you train yourself to see patterns, creative work becomes clearer and more intentional. You stop chasing scattered sparks and you start recognizing the ideas that are worth developing. Why patterns matter in creative work. Creativity isn't just about inspiration. It's about recognizing when different ideas are pointing toward the same direction. Patterns reveal momentum. They also reveal focus, and they also reveal clarity. But it takes putting sometimes a lot of ideas together to actually get there and understand where all these little hidden gems are, so to speak. Okay? They show you what your mind consistently returns to, your themes, your instincts, and your deeper interests. When you can see those patterns, you understand where your creativity is already trying to go. Right? So how AI helps reveal invisible connections. AI is especially good at widening the field of view. It can surface relationships between ideas that feel unrelated. It can show similarities in tone, structure, or emotional pull that you may not consciously notice. I'll just stop and give you a little side note here really quickly. This is what I've built my career on. Being able to see those relationships between ideas that feel unrelated. I've just got a mind that works that way, somehow or another. I've been able to find in my career where A, B, and C, even though they don't seem they're that close together, really are, because you can always find threads. And I've been able to show a company how to pull on those threads a little bit and see what really matters and see what can work between that. All right. So this doesn't replace your intuition, it sharpens it. AI makes the invisible visible so that you can decide what matters. So spotting emergent themes. As you gather sparks, begin looking for repeated elements, concepts that show up more than once, tones that feel consistent, conflicts or problems that you keep circling around, and then visuals or metaphors that keep appearing. These repetitions aren't accidents. They're signals about your creative direction. Paying attention to them helps you see the bigger picture forming in your work. Finding the through line. So this is kind of what I was alluding to when I talked about finding that thread that's in there that you can pull on, right? Finding the through line. The through line is the core idea linking your sparks together. It's the thread that ties multiple angles into a single direction. So you can ask AI questions like, what common themes do you see in these ideas? What's the shared emotional center here? And that's a key thing right there, the shared emotional center. Never be afraid to ask something like that because it gets down to a deeper level. Like in the UX world, we always talk about empathy, being able to work with empathy towards other people, stepping into their shoes, researching, questioning, doing interviews with them in a way that allows you to understand more of their world than you knew. A lot of times, what people within their own company don't even know about them. That's where you can get to. So what's the shared emotional center here is a really, really clever question to be asking. Okay, and then number 3, if these were chapters or concepts in a series, what binds them together, right? What brings all these ideas together? This helps you identify the shape your ideas want to take. So let's talk about seeing what's missing. Patterns aren't only about what appears, they're about what doesn't as well. So you want to look for gaps in logic, because a lot of times there are some, missing perspectives, places where the ideas feel thin, and then angles you haven't explored yet. These gaps become opportunities to strengthen your work. AI can help by suggesting viewpoints or details that you might have overlooked. And that's fine because we're using AI as a collaborator here, right? You're learning and you're understanding how to work with AI in a little bit different way, maybe than you did before, or maybe than you thought you could. Okay? Developing pattern awareness over time. The more you practice pattern thinking, the easier it becomes. You'll start noticing recurring themes in your writing, your conversations, your interests, and even in your frustrations. Another big telling point there, especially in those frustrations, be open to looking at things like that. Notice patterns, recognize what keeps appearing, build awareness, develop your creative compass, and stay aligned. Focus on what matters most, always. In some circles, that's known as first principles thinking. Look that up, too. Look up first principles thinking and see what you find. Over time, this awareness becomes a creative compass. It helps you choose projects, refine your ideas, and stay aligned with what you care about most. All right? Let's keep moving. Using patterns to shape direction. So once you recognize your patterns, you can decide what to do with all of them. You can grow an idea into something bigger. You can combine sparks into a cohesive project. You can filter out the noise so that the signal becomes stronger. And you can clarify what belongs and what doesn't. Patterns turn raw creative material into something that you can build around. Why pattern thinking builds creative confidence? Confidence comes from clarity. And I spoke about clarity a little bit before. When you can see the underlying structure of your ideas, you no longer feel lost or uncertain. You know where your creativity is headed and why. AI becomes a tool for refining direction instead of generating endless distractions. Right? Next up, story engines. In the next lesson, we'll take the patterns you're starting to recognize and turn them into early shapes, narratives, essays, outlines, or visual concepts. You'll learn how to build story engines that transform loose ideas into something that you can develop. All right, so thanks for being here for this one. I'll see you over in the next one.